Okay, so this is a guide to, no, not leveling anything up, but for suggestions for the best warrior build. Now, when I first started playing, I wasn't really sure what I should do because, you know, obviously you don't have a lot of experience with it. And I kept on restarting because I wasn't satisfied with what I'd done, and I hope I can help you avoid that annoyance if you watch this video. Now, I suggest that you go with heavy armor. It's moving about with it is the main reason that I wouldn't choose it, and also the sneaking is bad, but there's a very good perk. This conditioning. Heavy armor weighs nothing and doesn't slow you down when worn, which is what I use, and that means that you don't get any impact on your mobility by using heavy armor, and heavy armor takes, you know, a lot more damage than any other armor. And what I was doing here, the reason why I'm here and all of these people are dead, is because I was fast leveling my heavy armor. The way you do it is you find a camp like this. Like I went to Fort Greymore, which is kind of Whiterun. It's a quest that you can get it as a quest, but you have to clear out this whole place. But I just stood out here and healed myself every time I got low on health and used magicka potions, as you can see, except that one I don't have any left. And I had quite a few beforehand. So yeah, that's how you fast level the skill. You can't really walk away from the computer because, I don't know, you have to have a pretty high level in it so you can walk away, or you must be a pretty low level because, you know, I'm a, what level am I? 39. I get dealt a lot of damage. Okay, and then the next, what I recommend then is using a sword because, you know, I tried out mace and two-handed and, I don't know, war axe and all that stuff, and I just feel as though I don't swing fast enough and you lose mobility when you use anything except a sword. And I don't like that. Because I'm all about mobility and trying to avoid damage as much as possible. So, when putting perks into things, you don't get a lot of perks. Because, you know, there's, what, for instance in light armor there's 5 here, and then there's another 5 there, so that's 10 perks. 10 levels that you have to put into light armor in order to max level it. And there's so many different skills, as you can see, that it's not worth putting a lot of perks in, so you have to be pretty careful with what you choose. So especially with one-handed, there's not a lot of useful perks, really. If I can find it. Here we go. So that is useful. That does more damage, and that is also quite useful, the Bladesman perks. But there's nothing else that's useful. Fighting stance? Really? Who uses power attacks? You know. All of these things. I mean, okay, critical damage is kind of neat, but it's not worth a perk. Paralyzing strike. You know, all of those things would be nice, but are not worth it. And duel, I don't go duel. I mean, it doubles your damage, but I like to use healing with my other hand. And the only thing that I put into healing, restoration, I mean, is the Novice Restoration, and I always keep using the standard, you know, standard healing spell because it's just not worth going to Apprentice Restoration because it doesn't take that long, even if you have 340 health as I have. Yeah, yeah. And then the next thing that I like to use is, goodness, where is it? Sneak, because I don't know, they've got some pretty nice perks. I mean, as you can see, I'm not really about to sneak, but this here is incredibly useful because you just don't have to worry about all the traps that you encounter in dungeons, and there's quite a few of them. So yeah, and archery is definitely the easiest way to play this game. If you're just looking for, you know, playing this on the hardest possible difficulty and having the easiest possible time, archery and sneak combination is a very good way of playing this game. And also I have a guide to leveling up archery to level 60 in Riverwood without paying any money for it. the first time you come to Riverwood, and after that you don't. As you can see, I didn't take advantage of it. But after that, there's no reason to power level it or do any kind of training or whatever, because it just naturally levels up. And there's a lot of useful perks in archery. As you can see, that's always useful. Yeah, I'm not really sure about this. It's not that good. I mean, slow down is kind of nice, but I feel as though I miss my shots just as much as if I don't do it. Anyway, most of these are kind of useful, except of course the higher ones. They're never very useful. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that one moving faster with a drawn arrow is kind of neat, but whatever. And you'll always want to smith your own stuff. Like, there's no reason to buy armor and weapons, because they're always going to be worse than what you can do. And this is the easiest way. This side of the perk tree is the easiest way to get dragon armor, but glass weapons aren't as good as Daedric weapons, and that's why I went with Daedric this side perk line to get better weapons. I know it costs a couple more, one more perk than if you go down the left side, but yeah. And dragon armor doesn't have blades or any kind of weapons in it. So yeah, that's why it says armor, not smithing. Enchanting is also very useful. There's not a lot of useful perks. This side, it's alright. It means that you sometimes get to use your sword, or if you enchant your sword, but it doesn't refill it quick enough that you always have the enchantment, so I don't really feel it's worth the 2 perks. And this side is completely useless, because you should not be enchanting your weapons with extra damage. You should be enchanting them with absorb stamina, absorb magicka, and that sort of stuff, because that's much more useful. And these here, they are important because you want this perk 2 enchantments on the same item, which is very, very useful. As you can see, I haven't finished up leveling enchanting on this build, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The other stuff, I don't know, alchemy it takes ages to level up, not worth it. Pickpocket is very neat. I haven't done much of it, but it's incredibly easy to level up. And if you use bow and arrow, you can always refill your arrows by pickpocketing guards. Lockpicking, I mean, they make it easier to lockpick, but I have installed a mod that just shows you how to lockpick, and they do have like nice perks. For instance, without being noticed. I've never been noticed whilst picking locks. Like, this has never been a problem. I don't really care for that. More golden chests. There's so much gold around that's not needed at all. I mean, special treasure is nice, but only to sell it. Sell it really, because you never come across that good stuff unless you get it in a quest. And I don't know. If you're looking to sell stuff easily, there's plenty of opportunity without that. Yeah, again with the perk, don't need it. With the perk and the mod, don't need it. And all of these you don't need with the mod either. And I do recommend installing the Lockpick Pro mod, because I don't know, lockpicking just slows down and isn't fun to me. Which is why I wouldn't go with it. Anything else? Heavy armor, enchanting. Nope, that's it. Oh yeah, and all of this stuff is completely useless. All of the magic stuff. Oh, and speech. Don't bother leveling this up, because I always have to run around the place to sell all my items, and I end up spending more time. And if you make prices better, you spend even more time running around trying to find vendors to sell your stuff to, because you get so much money from all the things you sell. It's just, there's no reason to do any of this. And the whole intimidation, and so on. I mean, they're nice, but they're not really essential. Like, they don't solve things that you can't solve with brute force. Yeah, and I like brute force. I mean, this is all nice, you know, these upper ones here, but if you go to the trader, the Thieves Guild trader, you can sell anything to them anyway. And also, if you restore the Thieves Guild to its former glory, the seller, I don't know, the vendor there gets a whole lot more money. And yeah, oh, there's one more thing I forgot. Damn it. Alright, I'll be back once I remember. Oh yes, when you get armor from the Thieves Guild, make sure you don't sell it, keep it, because in a previous playthrough, or character build, I sold some parts of it, and then I couldn't use the vendor anymore because eventually you get a better item, a better piece of armor, and I sold the original one of those, and then she just says, oh, you're gonna have to find it, and you can't steal other Thieves Guild members' armor, and you know, once you sell your stuff and the vendor resets that you sold it to, that's it. It's gone. So yeah, don't sell any of the Thieves Guild armor. Just keep it in a chest or something.